Hey y'all, today we're going to have a conversation about anxiety. So this is something that I've been making content on and talking about for a number of years now, and I think that the issue has become even greater than it was years ago during COVID. So about anxiety, if you are someone who struggles with it, if you have it, if somebody that you know struggles with it or has it, the first thing that I want to say is that anxiety is not something that we can have. We cannot possess it, right? It is not a physical thing that you can put on a table. You can't hold it. So we don't have anxiety. And I find that the language of having creates a sense of permanence that people have about, this is just this thing that I have, like some affliction, right? Like some illness, some diagnosis. And it isn't something that we have. It is something that we do. Anxiety is a behavior. And the construction of anxiety essentially is our mind creates images of things that we don't want. We fixate on those images and we have a corresponding feeling in the body about that thing, that future thing. Now, anxiety is different from fear, and that fear is something that's happening in the present moment. So when we're doing anxiety, we're doing it about some possible future event. So I want to create that distinction. So we're making images in our head of what we don't want, and we're having a corresponding feeling in the body, and then we're fixating on that thing. Mel Robbins, creator of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Just Do It thing, the way she describes it is the habit of allowing worry to spiral out of control. Now that very important word in there is habit. Now we're not born with anxiety. We don't have habits when we're born. The only thing we're born with are the fear of loud noises and falling, and then certain reflexive behaviors for self-protection. That's it. That's all we got. Everything else we've learned, which means you've learned to do anxiety. You have acquired the habit of allowing worry to spiral out of control. And that's happened over a period of years in a lot of cases. So if I were to ask, when did you first start doing anxiety? I imagine you probably would say something along the lines of, I don't even remember. For as long as I know. It's just always been that way. That's what most people say. So, the first thing I want to do is I want to bring into your awareness the fact that it is a habit that you acquired, therefore it's a habit that you can unacquire. You can get rid of it. And the way that we do that is by becoming aware of it in the moment and then changing the pathways that we follow in our mind and the thoughts that we allow ourselves to fixate on. So when we look at it in this way, the way that I look at anxiety is this. The feeling of anxiety in the body is actually a useful mechanism. It is a notification from the unconscious mind to focus on what you do want. Because the only reason you're feeling that feeling of anxiety is you're thinking about things that you don't want. So the cure to that, the antidote to that, is to think about things that you do want. So the feeling of anxiety is the unconscious mind letting you know you're thinking about what you don't want, and you need to think about what you do want. So I want you to, in your mind, I want you to create the association, create the connection between the feeling in the body. I need to think of what I do want, so that you retrain your brain to change the way you're thinking in the moment. And in a minute, we're going to do a technique that'll help you to do that. So thinking about anxiety as the notification from the unconscious mind to focus on what you do want. Now, if you're somebody who does anxiety really well, if you've acquired that skill of doing anxiety and the habit of letting worry spiral out of control, then I imagine that you could, if you wanted to, think of an event right now about which you're anxious. So think about something about which you're anxious right now in the moment. And if you want, just go ahead and hit the pause button and restart it in a second when you land on that thing. Most people, I find, 5 to 10 seconds, and they can think about a specific event. We're not talking about just general things, like I'm worried about something catastrophic happening. We're talking about a specific event, a very specific thing that you can do anxiety about right now in the moment, where you can create that feeling in your body. So number one, once you have that, what I want you to do is I want you to create an image in your mind of that event being 100% totally successfully completed exactly the way you'd like it to be. And so in your mind, see it successfully completed 100%, hear any sounds that are important for you to hear, and feel the feelings of that event being totally successfully complete, whether that's relief or calm or joy or gratitude or confidence, whatever that emotion is, the feelings of that thing being 100% totally successfully completed. And then once you have that image, I want you to go ahead and take that image and float out into your timeline, into the future, to 15 minutes after the successful completion of the event. And once you do that, turn and look toward now. And then notice, where's the anxiety? It's gone, right? Because once it's already done, there's no way to continue to do anxiety about that thing. And so once you notice that the anxiety has completely disappeared, then I want you to allow your unconscious mind to notice along your timeline how all of the people and the events and the resources and the things, everything is showing up synchronously and serendipitously in the perfect time, in the perfect way, to support you in the 100% totally successful completion of that event. And then as you float back toward now, over your timeline, allow your unconscious mind to notice 2 or 3 different things or people or resources or events that are showing up to support you in 100% total successful completion of the event. And most people close their eyes when they do that visualization, and you can rewind and go back and do that over and over again. If the anxiety did not completely disappear, and it does for nearly 100% of the people that I do that technique with, if the anxiety did not completely disappear, then the only reason for the anxiety to persist would be that you allowed some element that you didn't want to exist in the image. So all you have to do is go back and do it again. Create that image exactly the way you want it to be. Make sure that you don't allow anything that you don't want to invade the image or encroach on the image, and then just run it again. And when you get practiced at doing this technique, you'll be able to reframe that and shift that emotional state in under a minute. The whole technique itself takes like 2.5 minutes or so. So that's the technique that I do to alleviate anxiety in the moment. Now, that doesn't necessarily address the underlying causes of the anxiety, the reason it's showing up in the first place. So I hope that technique is helpful. If anxiety is something that you do, I hope you get something out of this. Bookmark this video, save it, replay it, tag anybody in the comments down below that you think might benefit from it. If you would like, give it a share. I would always appreciate that. And if you want to get access to this technique, just the technique, a little bit more of an explanation of anxiety, as well as 2 different recordings, 2 different guided meditations with some nice background music that we just went through, go to easyanxietyhack.com, punch in your name and your email, and you get instantaneous access that you can have anytime you need it. And if getting rid of the underlying causes of the anxiety is something that you're interested in, I do have a 1-month program called the VIP Clean Slate that I offer. Unconditional lifetime guarantee will get rid of it and it'll never come back. So like, share, subscribe. That's what all the guys on YouTube say.